Hi, everybody. This is Coach Rogers Veen here. Welcome to Career Coach Talk. We have a wonderful and bright guest with us today, Miss Renika Atkins. Now, Miss Renika Atkins is a born fighter who lives to turn the world around. She's a dynamic speaker, founder, Black Girl Tech investor, and a master's level social worker in the healthcare IT industry. Whether she is mentoring young girls in foster care or training C-suite executives, Renika commands her audience with her smile and vibrant personality. Having a difficult journey herself, she is still has found ways to rise above her circumstances and become successful. Her dedication to her own purpose in life has gained her over 8 years of experience in serving students, young adults, and high-level professionals. She has spent the last 5 years growing and leading R.I.S.E, a 501c3 nonprofit organization that bridges the disparity gap between foster, youth, and alumni in the community through mentorship, education, awareness, and advocacy. While cultivating her nonprofit, one of her greatest undertakings has been assisting passionate leaders cultivating nonprofits, startup success, and sustainable resources. Renika is a powerhouse speaker and empowering coach with a passion to motivate students, young adults, and leaders to unlock their greatest potential and unleash the greatest skills and talents onto the world. It is my pleasure to bring to you the vibrant, intelligent, and wonderful and philanthropic Miss Renika Atkins. Well, hello, Renika. Welcome to the show.
Hey,
How are you doing?
I'm doing good. How are you?
I'm doing great. I just like seeing that smile. This is so big and vibrant. Vibrant is just a word, for you, next to unstoppable, of course. But
Okay.
vibrant is definitely the word. So we're definitely happy to have you on the show today. Thank you for your time.
Thank you for having me.
Okay, now here at Career Coach Talk, we like to dive right into it, right? We're going to just jump right into it.
Let's
We're
get
living in a COVID world. We're living not post-COVID yet, but we are still living in a new normal COVID world. We have civil unrest going on. Unfortunately, we just recently had another event that has occurred, which is constantly showing where we are as a country in social injustice. So how are you able to continue to have such a positive and and awesome outlook on the world and be successful in this ecosystem that we're living in?
So for me, I always say there's nothing new under the sun, right? This has been going on for so long. And what keeps me in a positive mood or what keeps me going is the fact that I continuously see conversation around just making a change. And I continue to see Black men and Black women show up for the cause. And I'm just like so grateful to be living in this time, even though it's crazy with COVID. I'm just grateful to be living in this time and be able to witness and be a part of this change.
Wow. Okay. Well, you just decided that you're gonna look at the bright side of things and you're gonna say, hey, we're just gonna work our way through it. We're gonna look for the positive and keep moving forward. That's an awesome. So where does that come from? What is your source to keep that level of positivity and that great outlook? How do you cultivate that?
Well, I'm a believer in Jesus Christ and the Lord. I really channel it because I always believe in balance, right? We think balance is like, oh, if I do something good, I'm going to do something bad. Or if this happens, then something bad is going to happen. It doesn't work like that. If you're going to live in this world, the balance that you're trying to achieve is balancing the positive and the negative. Like if something positive happens, there's always going to be something negative that's going to counter it, right? That's balance. That's how the world kind of functions in my world. That's how I have an outlook on it. Okay. So the thing about it is you can't get wrapped up on the negative. You have to acknowledge it, give it its just dues, work through the process, work through your feelings and emotions about it, And then you choose every single day to focus on the positive. You choose every single day to focus on the happiness and the success. But you acknowledge the negative or whatever else is going on, but you actively choose to focus on the positive success. And what you focus on is what will happen.
Okay, say that last statement one more time. That was poignant. Say that one more time for everybody.
What you focus on is what will happen.
Thank you so much for that. Seriously, and I'm not even trying to be funny. That is a very extremely important point because a lot of us, and definitely I can speak in my journey. The times I have focused on all the bad things that could possibly happen, more of those things happen than probably would have if I had shifted my focus somewhere else. Shifting
Right.
my energy. So I think Tony Robbins says when the energy goes, what we say, where energy goes, that's where results flows or something like that. In that, yeah. So there's a lot of you great people out there that agree with that sentiment. So let's kind of pivot just a little bit to your business. I said a lot about the nonprofit that you have going on, and I'm curious. I know you have some success working with people through your nonprofit. How has COVID affected your ability to continue to move forward successfully with that?
So I work with youth and young adults who are transitioning into adulthood. Right now, we're housing young adults who are experiencing homelessness. COVID has ramped things up to the maximum. Whereas a normal situation or a normal atmosphere, if a young adult is experiencing homelessness, it's enough to help them to get into the apartment, as far as paying the deposit and stuff, maybe 3 months rent. But now because of COVID and because of the jobs not being available, because of the processes when it comes to state functions, stuff like just getting your ID to go and look for a job is very delayed. And so that has caused a slowdown on our end, but then we can't slow down, right? Because they're homeless. So we're going fast and the rest of the world is going slow. So it's been a challenge, but I'm grateful to be housing people and being able to house people during this time.
That's an amazing thing that you're doing. Definitely, that is definitely changing the life. Even if you change the life of just a few people, you're literally shifting the world every time you do that. You mentioned something about having an ID to look for a job. Can you expound on that a little bit?
Yeah, so a lot of our young adults, they don't have important documents, IDs, social security cards, birth certificates, or if they're immigrants, passports and all that information. Mm-hmm. When they don't have that stuff, it's a longer delay. So they're not able to go into the offices if it's not open in their area to apply for an ID in person, or maybe they don't have internet access to go online to apply for an ID. So then we have to mail in information. If they're applying for a social security card and they can't do it online, then they have to send their ID, and they're with their ID for almost 8 weeks before they get it back with their social security card. So just running into those kind of barriers to employment, because even though we house them, we only house them for 6 months. That's how long our program is. And that seems like a long time, but it's not a long time when you're trying to look for a job, get settled, and get on your feet.
Wow, that's a heck of a service. So let me ask you this. So what inspired you to even begin this service? What was it that happened? Because one of the things I noticed in your bio was that you had a difficult journey yourself. So what's your inspiration?
My inspiration came from my own just personal experience. I was adopted out of foster care, but I still had this aging out experience. When I turned 18, I was pretty much on my own. So I had to figure it out. I had to figure out the processes. I had to move through the processes of education, which is crazy. And just going through all of that and doing it on my own and not having somebody to say, you go X, Y, and Z, or this is where you go for that. That is what prompted me to start R.I.S.E.
So basically, you are providing the service that you wish somebody had provided for you.
Yes.
Wow. Wow. So in your working with people, you mentioned the documentation or the lack thereof, and how you walk people through that process. What are some of the other type of mistakes or shortcomings that you're noticing that a lot of your clients or constituents are dealing with?
Oh, the biggest, I won't even call it a mistake or a shortcoming. Just the biggest situation or scenario is catching charges.
Really?
Catching charges and being involved in the justice system. I myself, when I was young, I caught a charge before.
Mm-hmm.
But these felonies, and they're so young, and a lot of it is pending, or they're on parole or probation right now.
Mm-hmm.
Like when you're involved in that system, you can't get an apartment, not an apartment that you probably want to live in. You can't find a good job in time. There isn't that many supports. There's not a lot of re-entry programs. And unfortunately, we're not a re-entry program. So working through those barriers, and then for them to be so young and it's happening, they have to deal with that for the rest of their life. And they think that if I get it expunged, I had one individual, he had his record sealed and it still pops up everywhere.
Wow. That,
You know,
that so expunging or seal doesn't necessarily doesn't stop the effects that that thing has on their record as they try to live life.
right. If it's out there, it's out there. If they have the means to get into the system and see it, they have the means to get into the system and see it. Even sometimes them just seeing your name and seeing the charge, or seeing your name and like that you were in the justice system, that sometimes that's enough. They don't even go deep into the record to find out what you exactly did, what the situation was. I tell my youth, my young adults all the time, assumptions is all people need. All they need to do is assume something about you, and that will discount you being able to get help.
So, what are some things that they can do to avoid? I mean, there are some obvious things, of course, when you think about, not breaking any laws or anything, but what can they do to a step above that so they won't get caught up in these type of scenarios?
The best thing that they can do, and I don't have all the answers for it, maybe pursue something, a career or some type of life path that does not rely on that. For me, for my own experience, what I did for what I got charged with, it was adjudicated, and I started to go into other careers. So like I was a CNA, I got to be a social worker. Well, I am a social worker, licensed master social worker. So I kind of went that route. But I noticed once I started like doing things for housing, such as working with private landlords, boom, you're in. Because private landlords, they lease to who they feel like they can trust.
Mm-hmm.
They don't, some of them run background checks, some of them don't, and I've had my best experience from private landlords, or working jobs where they are a little lenient on the background check, or creating your own job. You can contract yourself as a cleaner. You can contract yourself as a case manager. You can contract yourself, I don't know, to build websites. So just kind of going into those lanes where you're kind of creating your own experience is like the best option when you have that many things or that type of record.
Well, I'm gonna tell you something right now. I don't know if people watching this episode really knows this, and if they haven't followed me a little bit, they're about to find out now. I'm the CEO of My Digital Self. Now, My Digital Self is a career coaching agency. One of the things that we offer is a virtual career discovery and definition program. Now that's something that I charge for, I charge my clients to walk them through the process. But the cool thing about it is that I have a virtual version of that program. And what I'm hearing is that this is I like to listen for opportunities, and this is an opportunity for me to invest in helping shifting the lives of people. If I can give them access to my virtual program that they can walk through on their own pace, that it can help them go through a self-discovery and definition process so they can identify what that career direction
Right.
is. If that's something that I can donate to your organization, I'm gonna tell you right now, it's yours.
Yes. Bring it. Bring it. Bring it. Bring it. Bring it. Bring it.
Because
Yes. Absolutely.
yeah, because that's something that honestly that we at MDS here can get behind because I know just like yourself, I know what it feels like to not have somebody there to help direct me into where I had to kind of discover mine on my own to a certain
Mhm.
degree and gather my own teachers and push them to push me to do the things. And everybody doesn't have that as like the fire that you have. Everybody doesn't have that opportunity or that fire in them to start off, but if you can help be that pilot light,
Mm.
like you're doing from your end, I can help.
Yes.
I will be more than happy to assist on the career end, and if we can work together. I'm gonna tell you, this is not even part of the interview. Forget the interview part. I see opportunity to change lives right now. Uh,
Yes.
so hey, we can let's talk about that offline after we finish this. And this is going into the interview. So,
Put it
yeah,
out there.
this is definitely going in the interview.
Yes.
So we've talked about COVID. So how is COVID affecting you personally? Like, your interaction with your family and your friends and everything. How have you been managing that?
It's actually going pretty well. Me and my family are really close. So we talk on the phone a lot. My birthday was during COVID, so we did like a family Zoom. Me
Hmm.
and my friends, the only thing that is affecting is my social life. And believe it or not, I didn't have a social life. And then I started trying to have a social life right before COVID. And then COVID came. And I was like, oh, now I'm really stuck in the house. But I mean, honestly, it's really helped me to be armed and ready for all the networking, all the interaction, all the opportunities that's gonna come once we're able to get out and get in front of each other.
Okay. All right. So um, I'm almost tempted to dive into that social life topic there and how that affect COVID. But when I'm doing, and I mentioned this to a previous person that I interviewed, is that I'm kind of interested to put together like a group interview or a groups forum to talk
Uh-huh.
about how COVID has affected social interaction, like especially when it comes to dating or kind of people going out trying to have a good time, and how is that affecting that world. So, we might have to tap you on the shoulder to come join us for that conversation.
Okay.
All right. So we talked about your business. We talked about, your personality. We talked about the things that you're passionate about and you're doing and your overall view on being, positive and look for the positive, acknowledging the negative, don't ignore it, but also look for the silver lining and look for the light at the end of the tunnel.
Right.
And tell us how can we continue some things that tell us some things that you're doing to ensure that you remain on this successful trajectory over the next 6 to 12 months. What you have anything brewing that you'd like to talk about?
Yes. So of course I set intentions every single day. So on a personal note, I set intentions every single day. I'm on a plan of what I pray for. I have a prayer plan. On a personal note. On a professional note, I just continuously make sure I'm learning, make sure I'm being intentional about my time and setting aside self-care. I'm off right now, but every now and then I peek at those emails. But I tell myself to get out of the email so my away message is set. But I just do those types of things. Make sure I stay connected with professionals that are in my field. I check on them. I don't wait on anybody to check on me. I will check on you. So that's kind of what I do to make sure I'm staying successful.
Okay, well, that's pretty doggone awesome. So talk to us about R.I.S E. Tell us where can we go to learn more about your organization and how we can reach out and connect with you.
Okay, so we're on Facebook. facebook.com/WeRiseAndInspire. Our website is WeRiseAndInspire.org. If you want more information about RISE, feel free to reach out to me on Facebook or through my personal pages. My email is admin@WeRiseAndInspire.org. And I'm on Instagram too. My Instagram name is kind of long. It's like unapologetically_re. I'm trying to be all cute and stuff. But I'm on there all the time. And of course, LinkedIn. Y'all can reach out. I'm open.
Awesome. Thank you so much for that. Thank you for your time. Thank you for your vibrant personality, your unstoppable mantra. We definitely appreciate that. Do you want to explain to people just a little bit about Unstoppable? Because if they saw the cover art, for this episode or the images, that we showed earlier, they see you wearing an Unstoppable shirt. Kind of tell us what that means right quick.
Yeah, so Unstoppable comes from my favorite song by Corinne Hawthorne. I heard it on the radio one day and I was like, oh my God, that's me. So she has this line where she's like, just watch me do it, put no limits on it, swag on it, walk right up to the front and where I belong and brag on it. And I'm like, yeah, that's kind of, I'm that type to just walk on up there like I belong and I'm gonna brag on it.
Okay. All right, cool. Thank you so much for sharing that as well. So one question we ask all of the people that come onto the show is for that last thought, that one message. If you had to boil everything down, what do you want to leave the Career Coach Talk audience with, today? What is your message?
I just want to leave y'all with this. Just, I don't know, be a paper chaser. Okay, have the block on fire, do what you need to do in order to be you, to be content, because at the end of the day, nobody has to deal with you but you. Yeah. So go out there and light it up if you want to, act a fool if you want to. I'm not telling you to, tear it up, but just tear up your success, tear up this world. You belong here. You have my permission. Give yourself permission.
Right. Okay. Y'all heard the woman. Go out there and see. You make almost bring me back to my New Orleans roots. You say bring the block hot. I'm like, all right now. All right. Well, thank you so much for your time today. Thank you for your energy. Thank you for your positive messages and for the work that you're doing, changing lives and being on the show. We really appreciate you.
Thank you so much for having me.
All right, guys. This is another episode of Career Coach Talk. I'm Coach R.I.S.E. Definitely reach out to to Renika about R.I.S E. Go to her website, go to her Facebook, see how you can be a help. I'm gonna definitely do that. I'll do it first. I'm not gonna ask you to do something that I'm not willing to do. And thank you guys for watching today's episode and looking at that. Look at that beautiful face. You can't say no to that face. Reach out to her and help her change lives. And thank you guys for watching today's episode today. You guys have a great one.
Bye.
Thank you for watching today's episode of Career Coach Talk. Are you ready for your next professional version of yourself? Come visit us at mdself.com. Schedule your free consultation or reach out to us via email at coach@mdself.com.